Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Christopher Norris. I'm Deputy General Manager Operations here at Durham Region Transit, and joining me today are Katie Monroe at Transit and Tanya Castle at Spare. We'll be sharing DRT's journey to launching on demand. So to reflect changing demand due to COVID-19, DRT adjusted its service levels on March 23rd of 2020 and again on June 8th. Ridership right now is currently about 36% of 2019 levels. The graph before you illustrates how the travel patterns have changed here in Durham Region. Gone are the typical weekday mornings and afternoon peak periods. We've also seen significant reduction in customers connecting to our partner Go Transit and a much lower travel patterns to and from our post-secondary institutions here at the region, including a suspension of our UPass program. These two markets represent about 50% of our daily boardings at DRT. We expect the current travel patterns to continue into the foreseeable future, and we're working with our partners to see how we can move back into those pre-COVID levels. We've launched a ridership recovery strategy that's made up of several initiatives to increase ridership to pre-COVID levels. So these are a multi-phased service plan that launches services strategically to align with customer demand, investigating and launching transit priority infrastructure such as bus lanes to decrease transit travel times, initiating market research on customers' anticipated future travel habits as we exit the pandemic. I'll be providing you with an overview of the first phase of the service plan that was launched on September 28th. It builds on service match to demand, ensuring access to transit for all residents in Durham Region, a 15-minute or better service on our frequent grid network, on-demand transit where demand is lowest. We've also launched a number of new exciting customer tools to make it easier for travel here in Durham Region. We've partnered with Transit to launch a new trip planning platform and provide real-time trip information. We've also partnered with Spare to launch an on-demand platform that enables spontaneous trip making. We've also launched an e-ticketing platform to provide opportunities for contactless fare payment. Before you, right now, you see the Phase A service plan that we launched. The frequent and grid networks operate every 30 minutes or better and was carrying 90% of our ridership prior to the launch of the Phase A service. These routes are accessible to 80% of homes within a 10-minute walk. So the thick orange lines represent the frequent network, so it's operating at 15 minutes or better Monday to Friday until 7, and operating at least every 30 at all other times. The thinner orange lines operate every 30 minutes at all times. The orange zones that you see there is the new on-demand service. It's available all day, 7 days per week, and matches our start and end times on our scheduled service. So they're deployed where ridership is lowest, including to new residential commercial areas that have popped up, and including some areas where we had to cancel service in June. The rural area is significant in Durham Region. So we've also expanded our coverage of on-demand service to encompass all areas of Durham Region. We've also expanded our hours of operation and it's now available 7 days per week from early morning to late night. We're leveraging the same on-demand platform for flexible trip making to connect throughout the region. We had previously undertaken a rule review, and a number of recommendations from that were fast-tracked, including a new link between the GO Rail service in Whitby up to Scugog and Uxbridge in northern parts of Durham. They expanded on-demand, the new on-demand platform and the phone-in option, and we've gotten rid of a 2-hour booking window down to a 15-minute one. So come September 28th, we launched Phase A. This was the highest weekly ridership relative to 2019. We went from a 33% average, 3-week average of 2019 levels to 36%. Our scheduled service saw the highest 1-week total since the start of the pandemic, 6% higher than the previous week. Our on-demand service carried 1,000 trips during that first week, and that's grown to over 2,000 since then. About a quarter of our trips are pooled, so multiple customers, and the app provides an option for customers to provide feedback. Right now, about 30% of our customers are doing that with an approval rating of 90%. So as I talked about the on-demand service, it's grown week over week since its launch. We've now operated over 10,000 trips since the launch date. We're trending about 2,000 trips a week and nearing 400 trips per day on the weekdays. Our growth is expected to continue as customers become increasingly familiar with the system. We're also supporting customers with a number of initiatives, such as some travel training, to support the change management at the customer level that's occurred here. The app provides us with a number of tools to data mine what's actually happening, including the heat map that you see right here. And we're able to see at a high level what our OD pairs look like throughout the network. What's important here is the quality of service that we're seeing as well. So as soon as you request your trip, our average wait time is about 6 to 8 minutes. This is what we're essentially able to do, is provide frequent transit service, spontaneous trip making in those low demand, low density areas that we'd be unable to do with scheduled service. We've also developed a weekly reporting framework to determine and monitor demand throughout the transit network to make recommendations on increasing capacity on those scheduled service, but also launching scheduled services in those on-demand zones where we're meeting those minimum thresholds, and it just makes more sense to provide that scheduled service. Now I'll turn it over to Tanya and Katie.
Hi, so I'm Katie Monroe. I'm with Transit, the app. Thanks, Christopher, for that overview of all the exciting things that you've been working on this year. We're excited to be a piece of that. We are the official endorsed app of Durham Region Transit for trip planning. And so that means we have all the information about fixed route services in the app, and then what we're talking about today is that we also were able to integrate the DRT on-demand service into transit as well. So you can see here a rider would plan their trip in transit, and then when they figure out what trip they want to take, they can link over to the DRT on-demand app powered by Spare to actually book that trip. And one thing that I just wanted to highlight that I think really speaks to the value of this integration between these partners is that in the first couple weeks that it's been live, or month or so, we've seen out of the thousands of trips that folks are planning in transit, 65% of those trips that involve DRT on demand are multimodal, meaning the on-demand trip connects to fixed route transit. And they really are making those first last mile connections. So we are excited to be part of this, excited to do more of these types of integrations, and excited for our role in the success of this on-demand program. And with that, I will pass it over to Tanya.
Thanks so much, Katie. We are excited to be part of this as well. As Katie mentioned, so we share the same ethos as Transit app. We believe that the future is multimodal. We believe in open transit, and that's why we were so delighted that Durham spearheaded this project and bringing us together when they decided to bring on demand into their fold of their transit offering. So Spare is a Vancouver-based on-demand transit software provider. We power on-demand transit systems around the world. This year when we launched with Durham, it was so exciting because it is our largest service in terms of vehicle size. It also is an incredibly impressive region that Durham is covering, over 2,500 square kilometers and 30 different zones, serving more than 600,000 riders. So really, really impressive the amount of ground they're covering with this, and clearly doing it in a really efficient, effective way by keeping their wait times under 6 minutes, as Christopher noted. So, just to speak to a couple of the things that Spare is excited to do and be a part of really quickly is this fact that it's multimodal, and is the fact that Durham Regional Transit has brought different transit operators into the fold as well to deliver their service and make sure they're able to reach the more rural environments of their district, and or the region, and also all of the passengers who need it. So we hope that this is really the start of many projects between Transit App and us, and we're so looking forward to future plans with Durham, who's really blazing a trail for innovation. So Katie, I believe you have a video that you can show.
Yeah, we just wanted to make sure folks could see what the experience is like going from transit for planning. So you here see putting in origin destination, seeing your different options. This trip is particularly exciting because, as you can see, there's a DRT on-demand trip at both the beginning and the end, so both the first mile and the last mile leg of the trip. And then the user just clicks requests in DRT on-demand, heads on over to the DRT on-demand app, and look at that, gets to request their ride. So it's a pretty quick process, and we're excited that thousands of trips have been planned this way.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic.
I'll pass it back to Christopher.
Thanks so much, Katie and Tanya. A few of the next steps that DRT will be undertaking as we leverage this new service delivery model. So we're looking at launching new scheduled service as our demand in some of those on-demand zones meets some of those minimum thresholds, and that we continuously return towards those pre-COVID-19 levels. We're also exploring new opportunities to combine our on-demand and specialized service delivery to explore and see where we can see some synergies and some efficiencies there. And finally, because we are located in that Greater Toronto and Hamilton area, we'd like to see how we can do multi-agency on-demand to on-demand trip planning and requests. That's all from us. Thank you very much. Have a great afternoon.